Hi there, welcome to Jason's Time Capsule. And today, I'll be covering a webtoon known as Sweet Home, episode 127. Okay, damn, I like this webtoon. And here are my reactions to this episode. So, the tension really picked up in the beginning with how the kid, who's kind of a human counterpart, managed to fight off a flying monster. Well, not fight off, like defeated it too. That's pretty freaking cool. And like in this scenario, like before he beat that monster, like we can kind of make out the two different identities that kid has. For now, I'm calling it the first personality and the second personality. The first one meaning the one that we first saw the appearance of, the really kind kid, the really gentle guy who's like kind of negotiable, and the second guy who just uses brute force to overcome any problem. Brute force and attack. It's just attack. So, in this comic, webtoon, this episode, the first personality actually talked him down. He did talk him down, but he actually made a compromise with the second personality because the second one wanted to stay. He didn't want to back down. He saw backing down as kind of a thing that he said, if I back down now, I lose. I don't want to show any weakness. Which I kind of get because like they, I'm gonna call them they as well because like they're like two people sharing one body. Like they have managed to survive by the skin of their teeth. A lot of times before this, we haven't seen it at all, but we can infer from it because like the first plan that they have discussed between themselves already. Like the first personality, he's definitely someone who can be reasoned with. He's the brains of the team. The second personality is the brute of the team, the brawn. So they make a really good combo if they're working together. Like we haven't really seen any kind of any meaningful interaction between this guy with his other teammates. So I'm not sure how their inner mechanisms work. All we know is that he's the lackey for the boss of his previous group, which kinda is everyone dead? I think everyone's dead except for the brown kid, who you can't see his face, his eyes, like Hugh. So, I wonder what's gonna be happening after this, after all this stuff is over. So, we'll see. As for the coolest thing, in my opinion, the coolest part in this episode is the freaking hand cannon he produced on his right arm. It's also cool how the first personality could control that power as well. I thought it was the kind of thing where the first personality is the human side of it, and the second personality is the monster/human side of him taking over, and actually only the second personality can use those powers. So it's nice to know that first personality identity could use those powers as well, and in a really freaking interesting fashion. So we could see that it looks like his right arm is kind of hollowed out through, like in the middle, out to the back. So, and then we see like veins being like like we see veins on top of the wooden hand cannon as well. So that suggests to me that he's tensing up his muscles, and then like something like, instead of shooting projectiles, like I initially assumed that he was projecting some kind of wood piece, shrapnel within him, and then blasting it out like a freaking shotgun, like a buckshot. onto the flying monster. But I think I was wrong. On closer inspection, it looks like everything's hollowed, and like in one split second, he tenses up his muscles throughout that hand cannon and then projects air out from it. So something like that. That's really cool. And this is the thing, this weapon he has, it reminds me of an anime I used to watch. It's called The Law of Yuriki, where he has the main character, the shonen protagonist, has the power to turn trash into trees. And it's not just one type of tree as well. He uses it in a really flexible way. So you have the normal sturdy tree, wooden tree, which can't do much. It would be just like a oversized bat thing. And then sometimes he could use a flexible trees as well. Make it flexible like palm tree or coconut tree, I think. And then he, on one scenario, that character also used a tree that can take advantage of a real big fire he was in to defeat an enemy. So he used like trees that had nuts on it, and when those nuts caught on fire, it exploded and kind of attacked the enemy. It was like a long-range weapon using a tree as a long-range weapon. That's so cool! Dang it! Okay. So watching that kind of ability being implemented into Webtoon, even though I know it's not an inspiration from that anime, I just kind of see it that way. It's really cool. It brings me a bit of nostalgia in there. My other thing is, he has, so I don't think we've seen him use, like, I don't think we've seen parts of him being broken off yet, right? It's always either being extended or contracted. Like, I'm not so sure. So I'm thinking, if any part of him, while he's contracted, while he's like, well, deformed, is broken off, like if your fingers were extended, it cut off, and then it retracts into a normal arm. Does that finger disappear? Like poof, Thanos wiped? I'm not sure about that. I really wish to know though. And if that's the case, will it grow back? Huh. Oh well, we'll see then. Now, moving on from this canon stuff, it also looks like this guy doesn't really have a strong loyalty to the other group. Like, he's okay with helping our main group, with like defending them from the other monsters, while Hugh and the other guys are planning an escape route to the mountain. So I really hope that he can get along with our main group and sort of have two demi-monsters now on their team. You'd have Hugh and this guy. I'm sorry though, I don't remember his name as of yet. So sorry about that. But we gotta remember, he has like two personalities in him. Or, well, I'm just gonna say identities. It's much more easier for me to like say that. Say that word. The first personality, he seems to be okay with it. Like I say in the beginning of the video, he's a negotiable kind. He's a reasonable one. So he can definitely, I can see him definitely working with our group. It's just that the other personality, he's kind of freaking stubborn as hell. Like, I don't know how he'll interact with our group. But the first personality, he seems to be a bit manipulative as well. Like, he can make compromises, so I'm guessing he's a recalculated person as well. Reasonable, manipulative, I don't know. That's how I see it right now. So maybe he can talk the second personality down to help him join this group, our group. The first personality, I like that guy. I'm okay with this. Now, I think I'm about done with this character. I want to move on to another character, which is the kid. He's actually kind of useful in this chapter, this episode. I forgot his name, but that he's the kid that his father died while trying to protect them, which I'm sorry for. Rest in peace, man. But that kid, oh, he's really observant. Like, he's the first one to actually caught on that someone was missing from the group. I'm just kind of surprised that he wasn't the first one to notice that Jisoo was the one who was gone, but Hyuk noticed it first. That Jisoo, that the name, that he noticed that which person was gone. I mean, so that we haven't seen those kids in action in quite a while. I know this is a really bad position to be in. The kids can't really be doing anything special in here. It's mostly the adults, the teenagers that will, take command of the situation to try to help the kids. But it would be really interesting for the author if he could make use of those kids, make them develop in a really good way, make them, I don't know. The first thing I can think of is like, there's an area that they need to go to, but in order to get there, there's like a small passageway that none of the other people can go into it, and that makes the kids have a time to shine. Like, you make the kids trying to forget about the situation they had with their dad, and then found a new home for them, and they want to help that new home. That would be a really great way of developing those characters, I think. But of course, it has to be done properly. It has to be done slowly, so that it doesn't become too jarring of difference between here and now, the personalities. Of course. So I hope maybe those kids get some decent development too. Of course, Hyun is cool. I like Hyun already. Now, oh my gosh, oh my freaking gosh, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I really hate her. Like, the author is really wanting us to hate this freaking forward-eyed girl. The girl with the glasses, I mean. Like, I know times are desperate, but you don't just go around saying, hey, let's abandon someone because, dang it. I feel kind of conflicted. I hate her because she said that, but it's kind of realistic with the situation they're in. Hyuk also supports her statement. I know, but it's still a bit move to do, in my opinion. I also don't know what I would do in that situation. I want to imagine that I would be some kind of the person to help someone else in trouble, but I don't think I would too. So maybe hate myself as well? I don't know. But I don't want to do that. So she, with her past actions as well, she doesn't look like someone who would risk anything to save anyone, which is true. She also, she kind of represents the worst parts of humanity. I would say, judging by her past actions, she doesn't do anything for the sake of the group. It's always for herself. Which sucks for people like her. Like, even if she does something for the group, it's not for the group. She would do it because she would be able to survive. I can even see that she would betray this group later on if she found another group that had better equipment, better human resources, and that their only requirement for her to join that group is to tell her the weaknesses of our group, or something like that. I don't know. She's a terrible person. I hate her. I think the author wants me to do that. I think. But yeah. Like, oh. And I don't think that she's gonna die anytime soon either. Just because she's making a really good counterpoint to Hyun. Like, Hyun is the typical shonen protagonist, though even though it's not Japanese, it's like, I know it's Korean, but it's kind of like a shonen coming out of age protagonist situation here. Like the optimistic kind, well, slowly turning pessimistic and optimistic depending on in which chapter you're reading. And she's the one who's the opposite of him. Let's just say that. Like, Hyun is a demi-monster who's behaving more human than she is. She is a human that's behaving like more than a monster than Hyun is. Yeah, let's say that. Okay. Now we're going into the final part now, which is kind of cool. Jumping back to the guy with the DID, on a separate note about DID, I'm not too sure if he has DID. He seems like he has DID, but I'm not sure how well this webtoon reflects that of the real situation, the real people who has this situation going on with them. So take this with a grain of salt, okay? So he now was revealed to have an ability to actually sense the number of monsters in an area. I am thinking that there has to be some kind of a range to it, right? Like, he's not just gonna be like finding monsters everywhere in that whole vicinity, the whole town. So there's gonna be a range to it, a sphere of influence. And I'm wondering if he somehow developed that ability as he's discovering his powers from that monster, or did he have that ability to begin with when he transformed to that monster? If it were the former, then can Hyun learn that ability? Like, imagine all the situations that they had been in because they couldn't sense monsters because their earpieces, like, they didn't function properly, they misplaced them or something. That could be a really good substitute for it. Like, shit, that would be really cool. And also, what I like about this webtoon is it doesn't contradict itself too. I mean, well, for this episode specifically, because when I first read this, I thought, how the hell did he not sense the flying monster that was going to be attacking him? And it seems like in this, there's a panel in here that suggests that this thing is a conscious ability. You can't passively use it. Like, it has to be activated consciously. Which doesn't contradict it. Which doesn't contradict with the story itself. It makes sense. Either way, here are my predictions for the rest of the story moving forward. We still don't know what Jisoo is gonna be doing. I'm thinking like I think she's in her room. She may be getting some kind of equipment to distract the monsters that are coming through to the roof. There's a lot of them. And then in the next episode, we might see them retreating back downwards, but the author won't show us what was happening to make the monsters go down there. I think Jisoo is somehow playing her guitar or something really loudly, like metal hard rock, and then attracting those monsters to her somehow. Although maybe. And then Wook and Hyun are still down there too. They're trying to make it up to the roof. So maybe she could help Jisoo somehow. I also don't know how far Jisoo is to the roof. How many floors is it between her floor and the roof. I don't remember. But yeah, that's my prediction. I think we're coming on to the climax now. So that could be cool. I kind of also predict one death. Probably that death would be like from our main group, the woman who was kind of a coward before, which we didn't have any progression from her. Recently, I think she's gonna be the one to kind of say hasta la vista, baby. Unfortunately, there has to be some kind of death. Like, this is a really high stakes scenario right now. It would be hard to believe that everyone is gonna be coming out unscathed on the roof. But at least the flying monster's gone. Hopefully there's no second, third, or fourth one coming to swoop down while they're crossing the huge ravine. Alright. I think I'm done with the review for this episode, so if you like it, give it a like on the video. Give it a like. I don't know if I'll do it more in the following weeks for the rest of the episodes. And do you want me to make like a read-through of the episode as well? That would be kind of interesting. I kind of want to do that, but we'll see. Now, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Jason. I am the host of this new channel, the Jason's Time Capsule, and sayonara. See you in the next video. Bye!